A lot of people view the gym and training as like a surface level activity, almost as if it's some kind of vanity project or it's simply to improve your outwards physical appearance. And after coaching hundreds and hundreds of people, I know that it is a hell of a lot more than that. And when I ask most of my clients what their main takeaway is from achieving the transformation, it almost always relates to this. And that's the mental side of things. And I wanted to introduce this video with a story. It's something that happened today actually, and it involves one of my new clients, Mike. He had been training with another coaching service in the city, shall we say, who bill themselves basically as the best coaches out there. And they do get some absolutely incredible results. But when I got Mike in through the door, one of the first questions I asked him pertaining to his training was, how much do you bench? Like, what's your 1 rep max? Now, Mike is a larger set guy. He's clearly got, a lot of muscle on his frame, and he's with me for the purposes of weight loss. And he said, I've done 70 for 1, but I really struggled. And I took one look at him. I said, mate, we're going to burst through that in your first session. I took him through 2 warm-up sets. We put 70 on the bar. He hits that for 5. We then put 80 on the bar, and he hits that for 1. Comes back to me this week. I'm training him 4 times a week at the minute. Missed a couple of sessions last week through holiday. Comes back to me this week and I put 80 on the bar. He's like, is that 80? I said, yeah, we got that for 5 last week. He's like, oh, right, okay, did we? Jumps under it, nails it for 5. At which point I said to him, that's actually your 1 rep max from last week. There is a method behind the madness. I know you haven't got very much confidence in your own bench, basically from what you told me in the first session. And so I had to lie to you a little bit to inject a little bit of self-belief into you. We then slammed 90 on the bar, which he benched with absolute ease. The 90 flew up quicker than the first rep of the 80. I said to him, that went up really well. He was like, yeah, I'm confident. I said, what's your body weight right now? He was like 101.5 k. So I said, cool. Put 102 kilo on the bar, benches it, not a problem. And that for me, in just 1 week, we've been able to add 30 kilo to his bench press. And I said to him, look, you've not got any stronger really in the last week. We only trained twice. There's not going to be any tangible strength benefits. You've certainly not put any muscle on. If anything, you've been losing weight. What is the difference there? And he said the belief and the confidence and the ability to know that you can push further. Now, evidently, whatever coach he has had, he's obviously helped him lose a lot of weight, but clearly this coach had not pushed the boundaries with him whatsoever, and that's why I just did not have the confidence in his original lift on the first day. The real difference here is that he's got a coach, he's got an external source of accountability that believes in him, and there's a really good analogy that I like to use, and it's, you can't read the label from inside the jar. In other words, when we are us, we are our experience of us. We naturally are an amalgamation of all of our self-limiting beliefs, all the things we've ever been told about ourselves, all the things we've ever believed about ourselves. And that shines through in the way that we act. And it's the reason why I will literally build people from the ground up when I coach them, right? It's not a case of, you come in, you're a little bit overweight, let's just drop your calories and just increase your activity. That's not the case. I will pick apart at why have you ended up in this situation in the first place? What's wrong? What are your beliefs about yourself? And how do we rebuild them and change them and align them with your future aspirational identity? And that's exactly what I did with Mike. And I could tell, when I was speaking to him about certain things, there were probably certain questions that were a little bit uncomfortable for him or whatever, but I think having them moments kind of click in the head as, oh right, well maybe that's why I've been acting this way, maybe that's why I've engaged in these behaviours before, maybe that's why I don't believe in myself as much in the gym. And when you become aware of these problems and you are positioned in front of someone who has experience helping people with those problems, you all of a sudden have that belief that, shit, I can do this. Well, he believes that I can do it. He wouldn't put me in this position if he didn't think that I could do it. And all of a sudden, that just frees you from this kind of mental cage that you've been in for however many years or decades. That is the power of coaching, okay? Some people can't necessarily see the value of coaching. They're like, oh, my training's fine. I can lift on my own. I can diet on my own. You can try. I mean, I could learn to drive on my own, probably take me 5 or 6 times the amount of time, would probably really piss me off. I'd probably give up after a while because I just didn't know what to do to take myself to the next level. And that's what you will see with coaching. Coaching is just a compression of time, right? You probably might figure all these things out yourself. You probably go wrong in a lot of ways. You'll probably follow the wrong advice. It'll probably take you 5 or 10 years to get to where you could have got with a coach in 6 to 12 months. But that's on you, and it's on how much you value your time. And the biggest impact for any of my clients is the mental performance, and it's the ability to break through those barriers, okay? Some people have a fear of injury, some people have a fear of failure, some people just don't know how to lift effectively, they don't know the right technique or whatever it might be. And having that permission from someone else that you can lift more weight, I'm here if you fail, don't worry about it. Or if you do fail, well, let's just look at where we went wrong. Were we not strong enough? Did we not give enough effort? You know, we can adjust the environment, the setup, the mindset, and that's going to be conducive to you succeeding. And there's so many people that do sit on the fence about coaching, but every time I've ever paid someone who's more knowledgeable than me, who is worth the salt, who's got good results, I've never regretted it. I've never looked and thought, oh, I could have had that money for a holiday, or I could have bought this, or I could have bought that, because there's always a lasting, tangible result for me. And that's why I'm so confident in what I deliver, because I just think I know the benefits of this. I know how many people have been through this program and have completely changed their lives. It's absolutely massive, okay? Now, being in this headspace of removing self-limiting beliefs is very, very difficult unless you have someone to coach you through it, okay? Because it's not as easy as going, I don't think I can bench that weight. All of a sudden, I'm just going to trick myself into thinking I can. It takes that outside perspective, okay? It's the same thing with weight loss, right? You might be losing a little tiny bit of weight. You might have lost 3 or 4 pounds and you can't see it on yourself. But then you go out to a function or something and someone's like, oh my God, look at you, you've lost so much weight. And you're looking at it like, have I? Like, how do you know that? Like, I don't really feel like I've lost that much weight. Other people can see things in you a lot quicker than you can because they are not bogged down by all the kind of preconceived ideas that you have about yourself. What you think about yourself is often not what other people think about you. Loads of people think I am really, really organised and super, super productive, and all I think about myself is, oh my God, I'm so chaotic, I'm so all over the place, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, blah, blah, blah. But that outwards appearance and expression of yourself allows you to almost have a little bit more insight as to what you're actually like as a person. Like we say, you can't read the label from inside the jar. You're not a very good judge of your own character. Your ego gets in the way. All these kind of biases and stuff like that will get in the way of what you ultimately think and believe about yourself. Your self-image really does shape your performance. And the way I look at it is, if you are training without a coach, it's like you're training your body, but you've got the brakes on. The mind is putting the brakes on a little bit, and it's not letting you train the way that you really should be training. There's just too many guys out there who think they know how to train, and men are the worst culprits for this. Whenever I train women, they're a lot more open and vulnerable about, you know what, I might not be doing this correctly, or maybe I'm not hitting this as hard. And most of the time women are like, yeah, like, I don't have a fucking clue how to train. Even if they can train really, really well, they just seem to be a little bit more vulnerable in that aspect. But for men, it's like they want to feel like they are the alpha and that they're doing everything right, and sometimes they can be a little bit resistant to someone calling them out on something. And 9 times out of 10, someone who tells me they know how to train, I'll literally watch one set and just be like, you don't know how to train, but that's fine, that's why you're here. And I'll just be honest with you, I'll say that was nowhere near the level that we need to be hitting if we want to achieve X, Y, or Z result. And so I suppose the takeaway from all of this is, get yourself a coach, stop sitting on the fence. All you've got to look at is how much other people value coaching, how pretty much all the people who have been in the best shapes that you've seen have had coaches. The people who are doing the best in business have had mentors. We all stand on the shoulders of giants, and pretty much no one figures this shit out for themselves. And if they do, they will pay for it with their time and they will pay for it with their energy. you're better off just paying for it with your money, particularly if it's only going to be sat in your bank account or it's going to be kind of squandered on other shite anyway. So yeah, get a coach, get them self-limiting beliefs gone, start really tapping into the mind and the ability to take yourself to places that you didn't really think was possible, and watch how much your physique just transforms.